Welcome to What's Going On. I'm Matt Litteral, and this is my guest, Shawn Newmarch. How you doing, Shawn?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me tonight, Matt.
Yeah, so I wanted to find out what's going on with your new endeavor of starting Newmarx-su. Tell us about that.
Newmarx-su is a concept that's based out of over 30 years of martial arts, psychology, and just life experiences, being a father, being a husband.
Yeah.
Learning experiences that's geared to help people with their mind-body fitness. It involves breathing. It involves some east-west techniques of Tai Chi and different things like that.
Okay.
And mixed in with self-defense programs and nutrition.
Right. Okay. And so you're basically starting this new brand, and you're going to grow it and just basically start a morning routine that people could follow a little bit.
Yeah.
And then eventually have like a membership where they could follow your vitamins and nutritional aspects and also find helpful stuff for their mind, body, and fitness.
Exactly. And particularly with mental health, because it all, the word mind, body, fitness is a pretty vast
it's
genre of what it covers, right?
Yeah.
And so it kind of covers all that. It's really to be out there to help people with the resources they need, because as we know, mental health now is such an epidemic.
Yeah. Especially for men, I don't think actually come out and say it because there's not a lot of support for them in that aspect.
Right, yes.
And so what do you think is one way that if you're a male and felt like you needed some support for mental health, or what's one thing they could do to start focusing their mental health to, would you recommend like a breathing technique or
I think
some kind of,
if we're starting, from the whole topic of mind body fitness, I think that I think people have to, I should say men need to first let go of the stigma. I think before you asked me to be a guest tonight, you were asking about that. And I think that there's this stigma in America, and especially I think they need to start there, looking inside and not being afraid to say, hey, I'm not a perfect man, right?
Right.
And being able to get to a place where they can reach out. I would say family's always a good venture to start off with first.
Right.
Your natural, your natural sources or resources.
Yeah.
From there, I think it kind of can be built from there. I think that when you get into the body part, looking at yourself, I think you have to look at what your strengths and weaknesses are, accept yourself for who you are. Going from there, as far as getting resources, when you get to the fitness part, I think that can help. But I think combined with all that, you have to reach out to maybe some professionals as a male, if you're having deeper issues with substance abuse, depression, anxiety.
Yeah. What if you just have a lighter case of anxiety and maybe you're not too confident with yourself? But do you think starting a routine in the morning would help?
Yeah, I think that's a good start, a good base, a good base. Yeah,
to that?
It could be as simple as taking walks or going. Joining a gym membership or having a home gym. Yeah. Getting a gym partner, right? Maybe another male or something like that.
Right.
And get a routine, get in a habit of doing something for yourself, right?
Right.
Because if you don't help yourself first, you're not going to really...
You can't help anyone else.
Yeah, you can't help anyone else. So you got to start with yourself.
Yeah. So if in this process, how would you... Or how does it help you in the morning? Like, what's one thing that you do as a male trying to focus and not stress?
Yeah, so the first thing I do when I get up in the morning, it's probably like a lot of people, you get up and do your business and then you brush your teeth or whatever. And then I start off with a fitness routine. I usually start off with a couple days a week where I'm doing a HIIT program, a strength training program, where you're either doing body weight or you might be doing weights. I also would add in some martial arts, whether it be, just something as simple as boxing, hitting a bag or something like that.
Yeah.
I try to get that routine going 5 days a week. I try to do at least a minimum of an hour to 40 minutes, 30 minutes minimum.
Okay.
I would include some breathing at the end, some specific breathing techniques that help get me prepared for the day, and also have help that I've found help me to reduce my anxiety and stress. It really sets the day.
So these techniques help you center yourself for
very,
the
very much.
rest of the day before you get bombarded with all the stress of the day.
Exactly. Yeah.
And in starting that, what would you recommend someone like my age? I'm like in my mid 40s, and I've never. Yeah, I look like I'm
35.
35, maybe. I tell people I'm 27 all the time.
Yeah, that would
it's
work.
Fun.
Sure.
But and mentally, I feel that way, and I feel younger, and I actually feel that way.
Yeah.
It's a funny story that my brother's 10 years older, but people think he's my dad.
Okay.
And he acts like he's like he hunches over, and people think he's my dad, and his son is my brother.
Well, you know what to say. The fountain of youth is being a man child, right?
Yeah.
Right. Having your little man cave like you got here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
you gotta.
Back to your question, for somebody your age, you know, if you're just starting off and you're just like, you know, hitting from ground zero, trying to start up, I would actually start off just maybe taking a morning walk, maybe 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then come back and maybe start doing some mindfulness techniques. There's an array of those out there, some simple ones. One resource I have that I wanted to pitch, there's a program out there that's called The Art of Living.
Okay.
And Art of Living is a program that I actually used. I don't even know how I came across it. It was just, you know, emailed to me one of those things. And I thought, I'll check this out. What's nice about it is it gives you a series of techniques for breathing that can take anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes.
Okay.
And once you get them down, they really help. They've done studies with it, with the program. I think, I don't know the exact, I don't want to give the wrong numbers out, but I know they utilized it, and I think it was like Stanford, Harvard, and I could be wrong, but what they did is they were using it with students that had anxiety and I think maybe some depression with testing. And once they did it, they found that it really mellowed them out and helped increase their you know, mindfulness and set them for the day to help them do better on tests. So that's a good start with something like that.
And what about as far as like maybe like martial arts or something for someone my age? Yeah,
somebody your age, I know
that's never done it.
I would say start something simple like maybe something like Tai Chi, if that's your, you know, go-to, if that's kind of your jam. If you want something that's a little bit more of a cardio and things like that, I would go with maybe like boxing. You know, you could find a boxing coach. There's tons of great stuff out on YouTube for where you can actually, you know, learn things.
And as far as Tai Chi or Jiu-Jitsu or karate, is Tai Chi more of like fluid?
I think Tai Chi would be more fluid, especially if you're you know, just starting out and you're not real flexible. It kind of covers everything.
Okay.
Because it covers like Qigong in it, and it's a whole structure.
Okay.
Program. So that would be a really good start. And then if you wanted to get into other things, then you kind of go from there.
Okay. Yeah.
So
because I've always thought about that. Like, where would I start? Being older. Like, you always see kids start when they're like 5 or 10, maybe 15, but
never too old. I
never hear of any of my friends starting to go to martial arts or anything. You know?
There's not really a specific age. You know, I don't know if you ever remember that show in the 90s called Married with Children. Yeah. There was a guy named Ed. I think his name was Ed Mann. I think he started like in his late 40s or maybe even 50s, and he started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I think it just depends on where you feel comfortable with.
Right.
And you know, any of them are good because they're all building the body-mind fitness, you know, and overall good, you know, just toning and structure for your body. So, you know, the harder arts, you're going to get banged around a little bit more.
Right.
But you shouldn't. I mean, if they're really a good place, they're going to go slow. They're going to be focusing more on you as the individual and building that whole self as a man,
confident,
confidence versus worrying about how many times you're going to choke somebody out or
hit a board,
or break a board or anything.
Like stuff, that's what I would think of. Like, are they going to have me breaking boards and bricks first, you know.
Yeah,
and
you
stuff
want to
like that.
find a Mr. Miyagi kind of guy. You know, somebody like that. Those are the good ones.
He used to live in Sacramento.
Yes,
actually.
he did. He
That was
actually.
pretty cool.
There was a little Japanese restaurant over that used to be over off, I think, in Rancho off of Zinfandel. I can't remember the name of it if it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
But I know he would come in sometimes and eat there years
really?
ago. Yeah.
That's cool.
But something like that. Yeah, you want to get somebody that's gentle, that's going to be not like you said, coming in there and hey, look at me, I got all these stripes on my belt.
Right.
And, I've done all this stuff. They're doing that. I wouldn't fool with them. But they don't have any level of humility or anything like that.
So basically, like, watch Cobra Kai on Netflix.
Yeah. It's
and
kind of the
you
difference
want to go with the
exactly.
Daniel
aspect. Right. Yeah.
when you're first starting out. And then if you want to get competitive, switch over to the other side.
Or
the
you
Cobra
can stay
Kai.
with them and just, venture out into different things, experiment with different things. That's one thing that Bruce Lee would always say, absorb what's useful, everybody know that saying, and get rid of the rest. So it's really not so much about what style you do or how you do it. It's about what works for you, because as men and
that
people in general, everybody's body style is different. So what works for me may not work for you.
Right. Okay. And then as far as so once you do your breathing and do your exercise, how would you maintain that throughout the day?
This is kind of interesting. So my family thinks I'm kind of a weirdo like that. So hopefully my wife doesn't hear this.
This is more of a guy show. Anyway.
But I'm just putting that out there because I didn't tell her I was doing this today. So you know how that goes, right? Even if you're a guy. I'm joking. But kind of what I do through the day is I break it up. So I'll do my morning routine, right? So I start off in the morning where I do like a light warm up, a very specific one. Yeah. Then depending on what day I'm doing it. So like I said, twice a week I do like the body weights and kind of the what they're called time static contractions. And I use those. They're kind of like an isometric. So I would do those twice a week. So I'll just give you, if you don't mind me giving my routine. So like on Monday I do my upper body, but I only do it once a week because some of the research, and that's probably something for another podcast, has come out that you don't need to spend hours in the gym. Actually, it could be counterproductive because your body needs time to recover. Right. So I'd come in and I'd start that process. That would be on Monday. That'd take about an hour. And so through that, I would do the warm up. I do the specific workout for the upper body. Yeah. And then I would do a cool down with a short stretching period. And then after that, I'd spend about 10 minutes doing the art of living breathing. And I kind of adjusted it to my own, which I call sky breath now. Right. Okay. And so after I do that, you go off and go about your day. What I try to make sure, because a lot of us are, we're docile. We just kind of sit around. We're on a computer or something like that. And in my field, that's what I do. So I try to break it up through the day where I can get like 3-5 minutes and try to do some stretching through that day, or maybe do some. The other thing that I do, which again for another podcast, is called Fung, which was developed by my mentor, Leo T. Fung, who used to be a good friend and sparring partner with Bruce Lee, which is one of the few legit ones. And you can go on YouTube and there's tons of people. But so I kind of use that because that really helped me, not just with my mental part, but also because I used to have quite a bit of allergies and like an asthma from it. So once I started doing that type of breath, it really helped. Really? So I would do that. Yeah, I do that. And then at work, let's say typically you have an 8-hour day, right? If you're, a brick and mortar guy where you go into the office. So I would break that up through the day. So I would probably go like, probably 3 hours into my day. And then on my break, I would try to go stretch or do some of that Fung. And then towards the end of the day, before I headed home, my last break of the day, if you get 2 breaks a day, I would try to do that then. Okay. And so I would finish that, but it doesn't stop there. Then I would come home, and again, I'm breaking all these things up, so it's really not that long. I'm doing them like little 5-minute increments. Then when I come home, I do a little more stretching because I like to do a little more advanced stuff for myself. But but I would just suggest doing that or doing a walk, and that's it. It's not anything rocket science or anything like that. It's just very simple.
Yeah. That's just great.
Yeah.
And so as far as creating the Newmarx-su brand, coming up, you're going to have a website. Right. And then you're going to give out some tips, and you'll eventually have some ebooks and sheets that people could reference
Yeah,
for
yeah.
mind, body, mental health.
Mind, body, fitness. You got it. And it's going to be structured so it's very simple. And my guys, wink, wink, the guy sitting across from me will be probably helping me put all this together.
Yeah.
And and my goal is to be able to help this to really help people, because I feel like there's so much stuff out there.
Yeah.
And, you know, I found, like you were mentioning earlier about what kinds of things to do with martial arts, and life needs to be simple, right?
Yeah.
You know, meaning you've talked about that, and many others, you know,
Yeah.
we've talked with my sons, you know, it's something that it's your own, that it works for you. It's not this put it in a, you know, little box and it has to be done this way. You know, I see a lot of folks when I've gone into like, I'm trying to think what that place is down the road here. It's not HIIT. What is it they call it? Is it TRX?
I think.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, what I found, at least in my research and working with people, is I see a lot of folks go into that and their heart's in it and they mean well, but it really tears yourself up. You know, it tears your body up. I'll see people that are, you know, I'm not saying that age is a factor, but it does. Our bodies change. So you really got to adjust things that work for you. Right.
And that's what I was wondering, because I've seen a lot of guys try to go out and start, and then they're like, they get hurt, and then they're done.
That's
they never want to try it again.
Exactly what happens. You end up tearing an ACL, or, you know, you tear a disc in your back, or
Recently, I hurt my meniscus standing on a ladder for too long, and that took me out for like a year. And recently, I was standing on a sailboat for an hour, like setting up the sails and stuff. Wow. And I was basically tweaking my knee enough to where it's been like 2 months and it's finally feeling normal again. But it's and when you get hurt and you're older, it takes like 3 times longer to get healed.
But the beauty of the body too is that with all, you know, the advancements of the technologies, like every day it's something. You can always start. You can always do something. You know, my one friend Leo that I mentioned earlier, he had a following of about 300, 350 people. And when he did his Fung, the beauty of that is that people could be sitting and doing this with, like, he used these light weights and kind of did like Tai Chi movements, exactly with what you were saying, because he had so many different health issues, but he was able to manage or recover from a lot of them. But I remember the first time I went down with him, I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be easy. And he's doing like 8-pound dumbbells. And I'm sitting next to this lady, and he's like, hey, you know how old she is? I'm like, no. He's like, she's 99 years old. And I'm sweating using, you know, like these 3-pound dumbbells, the way he did these things. So it's never too late. But we were sitting, and she was, I think, in a wheelchair, but she was still doing stuff.
Yeah. And through your process, are you going to eventually, like, for your paid membership, are you going to have a lot of these techniques?
Yeah, that would be all included. It's just, like I said, working with the powers that be that'll be helping me with this. So we'll go through it and refine it. And the key thing is what you said, though, was simple. That's what I want to keep it like that. Because I've looked at other memberships. I'm sure you have, too, in your career, you know. Yeah. And, again, if you have something that people don't value, or they feel like it's a waste of their time and it's not going to bring anything to them, then they're not going to fool with it. They're going to sorry about that. This is just another membership, right? They want my money. So I want something that's going to bring value and actually can help people. And like when you were mentioning about doing the resources, I also eventually want to have it so that we can have other people from other disciplines come in, whether it be nurses, doctors, psychiatrists, whatever, because all this stuff works together. And I see what the Newmarx-su brand would bring is more like a collaboration and kind of a resource thing, you know, for people as well as a membership.
Okay.
So,
great. I'm glad to be here in the beginning stages. And we're definitely going to have you back on.
Okay, it
as a regular co-guest or co-host of what's going on.
I love this.
And stay tuned for more information from Shawn and the new Newmarx-su brand.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a choke. We may have to adjust that. We'll see.
Well, no, we'll get people saying it. Newmarx-su.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. And
and we'll definitely have you back soon.
All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Have a good day.
Okay.